Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the webinar today. My name is Elena Chernaeva, and I'm the Networking Program Director with ERIC Edmonton Region Immigrant Employment Council.
And my name is Bao Ho. I'm a Mentoring Partnership Coordinator with the Calgary Region Immigrant Employment Council, or CRIAC, and we are your hosts for today's event. Our goal at both CRIAC and at ERIC is to support our clients to participate in the workforce to your full potential. Our strategies to do this include providing both mentoring and networking programs, engaging with industry leaders in the private sector like RBC, and also by providing workshops and learning opportunities like this webinar. Today, we are very excited to learn about the various career opportunities with RBC Insurance.
And also from ERIC, with us is Sarah Tangan, the facilitator for the Career Mentorship Program, who will help us with the Q&A at the end. Hello, Sarah.
Thank you, Elena. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Tangan, and I'm the mentorship facilitator for the Edmonton Region Immigrant Employment Council. Same as everyone, I'm excited to learn about RBC Insurance and RBC Meeting Place. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the session.
So before we start, I'd like to go over a few logistics. You're gonna be muted during the presentation in order to avoid any background noise. As you can see at the bottom of your Zoom window, there are two communication options, one chat box and one Q&A box, question and answer box. Please use the chat box only for technical questions like I cannot see, I cannot hear, and the Q&A box for any questions you may have to the presenters. We are going to answer all the questions after the presentation. We will record this webinar and we will post it on ERIC YouTube channel shortly after the presentation. And you're encouraged to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well.
So for the first 15 minutes of today's 1-hour webinar, we will introduce our panelists and we'll learn about the RBC Meeting Place. This will be followed by a 20-minute presentation from Diana Caldy, a senior recruitment consultant, who will share with us career opportunities at RBC Insurance. She'll provide insight into what she looks for when reviewing your cover letters and resumes, as well as provide you with some interviewing tips. The last 25 minutes are dedicated to questions. Feel free to ask your questions in the Q&A box and during the presentation and afterwards. Now I'm honored to introduce you to Alexandria Onyedika, Assistant Branch Manager and Advisor for RBC Royal Bank and RBC Meeting Place, Denise Vandermeer, Community Manager, Crowchild West Market, RBC Royal Bank, and Diana Caldy, Senior Recruitment Consultant at RBC Insurance. Please join me in welcoming them.
All right. Thank you, Bao, for the introduction, and thanks, Elena, for opening this up for us today. Okay, I will bring up the slide here for us to go into the fun aspect of today. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this career session. We are all delighted to meet with all of you virtually, and so excited for the rest of this hour. So like Bao rightly said, work with RBC as the Assistant Branch Manager of the RBC Meeting Place, which we're gonna introduce shortly. To know, I'm sure a lot of us while registering for this event will be wondering, why does it say RBC Meeting Place and not just RBC? We'll get into that. I've been in RBC since 2014 and came to Canada 2012. So not quite experienced as Canadian, so we're still newcomers, and I'm glad, and that is why I love this job, because as you see it on the screen, newcomers helping newcomers. So RBC Meeting Place, it's where we have is an RBC great initiative, an RBC commitment to the newcomers in the community, and this initiative is all about having a group of RBC team members out there in the community, holding the hands of newcomers throughout this journey. Like I said, I'm a newcomer. just 8 years old. So I know what it means to getting into a new society, a new community. And I know the implication of having somebody to hold your hands, walk through that journey. It makes it easier and smoother. And that is why RBC, it's given to the community through this means. So this initiative started in Ontario about 3 years ago. This is what our meeting places look like. So it's not a branch, nothing close to a regular branch, no teller services. You're just going to see a beautiful, warm atmosphere when newcomers can come and ask us anything. We like using that jargon to say, ask us anything, because it could be banking and beyond banking and non-banking. Okay, so it could be us sharing our experience. So this is the very first meeting place, RBC Newcomer Meeting Place in Brampton. And this is the team, like I said, it's usually like a team of 3 RBCers working out there in the community, working with newcomer agencies and helping newcomers, supporting them. This was a second RBC meeting place that is in Markham, Ontario. So 2 in Ontario. And this is my team in Edmonton. I know some of us tuned in today from Edmonton and from Calgary. Though we don't have an RBC meeting place in Calgary, however, we have an awesome, wonderful community manager who I would like to introduce to you today. Denise, it's Calgary West, helping, working in that location. Though it's not an RBC meeting place, but she is very available to support newcomers all the way in Calgary. So Bal is from the agency in Calgary, correct? And then you will have Denise in Calgary, the community manager. And I'd like Denise to say hi to attendees today.
Wow, thank you for that lovely introduction. Good morning, everybody. As Alexandra and Bao mentioned, I am Denise Vandermeer. I'm the community manager for our Crowchild West community, but that doesn't mean that I can't connect you wherever in Calgary that is needed and that you would like to be placed in as well too. So as Alex mentioned, we mentioned we don't have that same kind of meeting place, but I am still the face of RBC within Calgary. And just like the meeting place in Edmonton, we love our newcomers. We want to make sure that we're educating, that we're assisting with your banking journey, anything beyond banking, anything that we can assist you with as well too. So if you would like to connect with me, please email Bao. He'll make sure he gets you connected, and we'll make sure we talk with you and help you with any of your needs.
Thank you so much, Denise. And also mentioning here, RBC meeting place in Edmonton. We are located inside the Edmonton Mennonite Center for Newcomers. It's one of the new settlement agencies that are helping newcomers, just like the ERIAC today and the CREC. So Edmonton Mennonite Center for short, EMCN, opened their doors to us when we brought this initiative to them. That was last year when we were established, precisely June last year. So we are located inside the Edmonton Mennonite Center. So any newcomer that walks into their doors will definitely see us there. And right now with COVID, we are working virtually, but I'm sure very soon we'll be there physically like we have always been. So on that note, I would like to introduce to you Kamaljeet, who is the EMCN representative on this call today, just to say hi to everyone and tell you a little bit about EMCN.
Thank you, Alexandria. Hello, everyone. My name is Kamaljeet Matharu. I work with EMCN, Edmonton Mennonite Center for Newcomers, as an employer liaison. And what I do is I help people who are looking for work. And in EMCN, we have different settlement and employment programs. And RBC Meeting Place is a very special place in EMCN where clients can come in and ask any questions about the Canadian banking system, not only just about RBC Bank. If they have any questions about any banking, they can ask, and they feel safe because they can relate to Alexandria because she herself is an immigrant and she can understand the challenges. Not only just that, she's been helping with the resumes, cover letters, and interview skills. RBC team has been an amazing. And thank you so much for doing so much for our clients. And we are excited for today's webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamaljit. And like I said earlier, it's usually a team of 3 in the meeting places. So you can see my wonderful teammates, Folake and Tarek. They're on this call today. The excellent thing is that we help newcomers in over 240 languages. So we have our partners, language partners on the line. We use our iPad. You can do FaceTime in whatever language you choose. And these wonderful people on the screen today, Folake and Tarek. Folake speaks French, Tarek speaks French and Arabic. So bring it on. Whatever language it is, we'll find you on our iPad, okay? So we support newcomers. You can see the kind of presentations we do. We can use diagrams or anything just to drive the points home the way you will understand. So the newest of the newcomer meeting places was just established recently in BC. So if you have friends and family that are newcomers all the way in BC, just know they've got a home to go to, okay? All right, and finally, we're down to the fun stuff today. I am so pleased to welcome all the way from Ontario, our senior recruiter with RBC Insurance, Diana Caldi, and she's been in our insurance industry for 30 years. So she's got lots of information, lots of knowledge. She's an expert in this field, and being a senior recruiter, we tapped on her, showed that, hey, you know what? Come tell us more about our insurance. I'll tell you guys, personally, coming from Nigeria, I've never wanted anything to do with working in the insurance industry because in my head, I've always known it to just be commission-based and just license, and I want a salary, I don't want commission. So I never wanted to hear anything about working in insurance industry. But after attending a beautiful event that Diana hosted in Ontario, I learned so much about different options about insurance. And I am so pleased to let you know that we're here to debunk that bias, just remove that and understand what it means to work in various industries. So Diana brings to us wealth of experience and knowledge today, as you can see on the screen, and she sits on various boards, insurance boards, and you can see that she's coming to us today with a lots of expertise. 13 years with RBC, and I am so pleased to hand this stage over to Diana to take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alexandra. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. And thank you so much for attending today's session and for allowing me to speak with you. I am so excited. Everybody at work knows me as the insurance geek, and I think I'm turning Alexandra into one too. So it's good. It's good. So what I wanted to talk to you about today was a bit about RBC Insurance. A lot of people have heard about the bank. And a lot of people don't realize that there actually is an insurance division to RBC Financial Group as a whole. So today we're going to chat a bit about RBC Insurance. And as Alexandria said, just to kind of demyth those myths in that and answer any questions that you may have about the organization. So as far as RBC Insurance is concerned, we sell many different lines of insurance. We have travel insurance, life, health, home and auto, reinsurance. Reinsurance is actually insurance for insurance companies. So when you have a huge, what we call in the industry, a catastrophic loss, like the Fort McMurray fires, insurance companies turned to other insurance companies, the few that are licensed to write reinsurance, to assist them in paying for the claims, to pay for property damage, things like that. And RBC is actually one of the few companies licensed in Canada to write reinsurance. We also sell business insurance, creditor insurance, insurance for mortgages, things like that. There's so many different lines of insurance that are available, and we are one of the few banks out there that do sell that. As it's indicated here, we are a division of RBC Financial Group as a whole, and we are the largest Canadian bank-owned insurance company. We have almost 2,600 people working for RBC Insurance. RBC Financial Group as a whole has about 86,000 people working worldwide. So the insurance division is the smallest division, but we're a very mighty one, and we're definitely making a name for ourselves in the industry. So let's look a bit at insurance at a glance. So the different types of insurance that we do have, as we've indicated here, life provides you with life or living benefits type of insurance. If you're ill or injured and you can't work, this is the type of insurance that would protect you from that. Travel insurance. A lot of people don't think about travel insurance when they go on a trip. However, having a loss or an injury outside of your own country can be incredibly expensive. If you were to be hospitalized in another country, it could range up to $10,000, $20,000 for just the smallest of things. God forbid somebody passes away in another country. It can cost up to $20,000 to bring that person, that body back to Canada. So these are a lot of expenses that people don't think about. And that's why we're here to provide that peace of mind for you. We also offer home and auto insurance. This is probably what everybody thinks about when they think about insurance, home and auto insurance. But it is much more than that. Business insurance as well. If you have a business, protecting your business, protecting that loss of income if something should happen, such as a flood. And also too, we offer third-party insurance through proprietary channels as well. We are a direct writer, which means our agents are in-house. An agent who speaks to you is an RBC employee. There are some insurance companies that do not have direct writers and do not have direct agents the way we do. They're like brokerages, which is fine too. It takes all different kinds of carriers out there to cover your needs. But any agent that works with us is an RBC employee. And the head office is situated in Mississauga, Ontario. So a little more description about the different types of insurance. So insurance generally falls into two types of categories, property and casualty and life and health. So as you can see there, we've got the home and auto insurance. Home insurance protects you if your home catches fire or there's a break and enter, property is damaged. Also protects you in case your postman comes and slips on your property. It's the slip and fall. It protects you if somebody sues you if they're injured on your property as well. Auto insurance protects you if, God forbid, you're involved in an accident, or if somebody is suing you while you were driving your vehicle. Again, travel insurance we touched upon, and business insurance as well protects you if something should happen to your company. So RBC provides all different types of insurance to protect our clients. Now, on the life and health side, this is where a lot of insurance companies might be a little apprehensive to get into because it is harder to sell life insurance. And we're going to talk about the two types. Auto insurance, and everybody needs that. Home insurance, everybody needs that. So it's a very easy product to sell. Where the big bucks come in, where people make a lot of money is on the life and health side, because that involves a little more work. But the nice thing about this is you can start off in the home and auto side, get comfortable with it, develop your own type of routine, build up your client base, and then you can make a move over onto the health and life side. We also are in the process of developing group health and dental. This is a large product that we sell as well. And I have to say, it is one of the smallest divisions, but we are doing very, very well. And we have the bank behind us too. So you know the insurance company is very stable. We're not about to be bought out by anybody. So it is a very secure place to come and work. Also, insurance is a very secure industry to be in as well. It's virtually recession proof. As I said, people always need insurance. And Canadians, we are notorious about purchasing insurance. We, to some degree, are probably overprotected in some areas, but hey, that's okay. And that's why one of the reasons why we decided to get into insurance, because it's something that we wanted to give back to the community. We wanted to provide that peace of mind to them. We provide that peace of mind to our clients on the bank side, and we also wanted to be able to do this on the insurance side. So let's talk a bit about some basic roles here in insurance. When, as Alexandra said, when you think about insurance, you think about sales, but it's much more than that. I recruit for 75 different positions in RBC Insurance, and less than 5% are sales. So there's a lot going on. What you have to realize is that insurance is a business, just like anything else. So a business will need project managers, business analysts, client effectiveness. They'll need communications. They'll need fraud. They'll need cyber. There's so many different areas that insurance can offer you. And we're going to talk a bit about that. But first, let's start talking about your stereotypical roles in insurance, what people normally think about. Sales. If you're into sales, love meeting clients face to face, this is something that may be of interest to you. Actuary. People who are actuaries are very good with math, computers, love calculating statistics, probability, appraising. You're going to the place that the claim has occurred. There could be a loss or damage there, and you're assisting the claims advisor to see how much damage there is, what's involved in replacing this or restoring this area here. A broker. This is what we talked a bit about. There's a direct agent and then there's a broker. A broker will deal with multiple insurance companies. And then there's the agent or salesperson who deals with just the one insurance company. Claims investigator, loss adjuster, these terms are used interchangeably, but as it says, you're part investigator and part therapist. People are coming to you because they've experienced a loss. Something terrible has happened in their lives. So they are now turning to you, the insurance professional, for that peace of mind. I was a claims adjuster myself for 10 years and I absolutely loved it. And it's so true, where it says that you are part therapist. You're listening to these people, you're empathizing with them, and you're trying to get them back to the place they were before. A loss control specialist is very similar to risk management. You're looking for areas where there may be a potential loss. We may have potential problems. So you're trying to mitigate that loss. You're trying to prevent that loss from happening or that risk from happening, minimizing the chance of that occurring. And an underwriter, this is the department that decides whether or not we're going to write that particular application. So underwriters and actuaries work very closely together. An actuary will collect a whole group of stats, and depending on what the company decides is a good risk or not, they will then present to the underwriter the list of this is what we approve, this is what we won't approve. This is the chance of a 50-year-old male who smokes, the chance of this person developing lung cancer. So an underwriter will use the statistics that an actuary has created to assess the risk. So an agent will present the application to the underwriter, and the underwriter will review it and see whether or not this is a good risk. Does RBC want to take this risk on? Yes, we do. Okay, this is what we're going to charge. Or no, we don't. The risk is too high according to what the actuary is stating. So we won't take that risk. Or we may decide, you know what, let's take it, but we're going to have to charge an extra premium for this to ensure that we don't lose out on this. Insurance companies traditionally don't make a lot of money on home and auto insurance. They usually tend to losing money, particularly on the auto side, because for every $1 that a person puts into their premium, $1.13 goes out from the insurance company. Insurance company will pay $1.13 for every dollar they get in. They do make, where they make their money is a bit more on the homeowner side, but more specifically on life and health. But that being said, the auto insurance, home insurance is incredibly steady because people need it. So insurance companies will use the investments that they make to offset the losses in the auto premiums and that. But as I said, it's a very secure industry and very stable, and people will spend their entire lives working in it, like me. So let's talk a bit about different roles within insurance. As I said, a lot of people don't think about this. Business development, call centers, change management, relationship manager, a lot of back office roles as well. Renewals, policy admin, new business, marketing, wholesaler, communications. There's so many different areas. If there's an area that you have a passion for, chances are that there's a role in insurance for you there. And it offers so many different opportunities. As I said, I started off as a claims adjuster in the industry. From there, I moved into quality assurance, monitoring phone calls, auditing files, coaching, mentoring. From there, I moved into training. I was a trainer, created my material, developed it, facilitated training sessions. From there, I moved into the business analyst world, and I was a BA for a number of years. And after that, I moved into HR, into recruitment. So now I'm actually recruiting for the roles that I've done in the past, which is actually pretty cool. So a company like RBC can offer that type of opportunity to you. In fact, we encourage you to experience other areas within our company. It's actually in our mandate for your manager to sit down with you and say, hey, after 2 years, where do you want to go from here? What do you want to do? Oh, you know what? I'd like to have a look at the project management world. Okay, we'll arrange job shadows for you in that area. I mean, last year I hired 250 people and 40% of my hires were internal transfers. So we really do believe in that employee development and growth, helping you get to that next stage, to that next level in your career journey, so that you will do what your passion is. You'll be incredibly happy and incredibly satisfied. And in the end, that's what we want, because if we have satisfied employees, that's reflected in the service to our clients as well. All right, so let's move on to the next screen there. So we're going to talk a bit about resume tips right now. So Alexandra is going to bring that up for us. So briefly, I've just laid out a couple of basic points here. Ideally, a resume should not be more than 2 pages and written at a level that a high school senior can understand. And the reason we ideally are looking at about 2 pages is because we just want a brief synopsis of what it is that you've done in the past. Having a resume that's 5 or 10 pages long is just far too long. It takes too much time to read. You want to save that for the interview. Just give us little snippets just to tease us, to entice us, to make me interested in what it is that you can offer. And again, keeping it at a simple level to read. Save the technology, the technical terms in that for your interview with the manager. A recruiter will spend an average of 10 to 20 seconds per resume, and then they move on to the next one. So that's why you want to make it as easy as possible for them to read, okay? Avoid fancy layouts, fancy fonts. Keep it straightforward and traditional. There's nothing more frustrating than opening up a resume and having it look like a wedding invitation. You can't read it. I'm concentrating more on the words in that and trying to read it as opposed to what you've done and what you can bring to the table. Try to keep it straightforward. If you want to have a fancy resume, that's fine. Save it when you actually meet the manager in the face-to-face interview. That's great. But for the computer, you want to keep it as straightforward as possible. Large font, 10 to 12. Again, you want to make it easy for us to read. Preparing it in a simple Word format so most computers can view it. Try to stay away from tables or templates. I can't tell you how many times I've opened up resumes and the job description is in the upper left corner. The date that they worked there in the bottom right. Everything is just all over the place, because if you're working on a different type of computer from the type that you created it from, it can't always open it. I have a Mac at home. So when I'm working from home and somebody has set up a template or a table format, sometimes it doesn't open properly. Whereas if you set it up in a Word format, it will always open. Use reverse chronological order. So list your most recent and current job at the very top and then go backwards in time. A lot of people will ask me, well, how far back should I go? I mean, I've been working for a long time. Do I have to, go back 20, 30 years? Your call. I mean, ideally what we want to see are the last few roles that you've held and your responsibilities there. That's where you're going to provide most of the detail. If you want to go back further, you can, but you only need fewer bullets the further back you go. And if you're looking at something that 20 years ago that you worked, if you feel you have to put that on there, that's fine. Just put the title. That's sufficient, just so we know you've got that experience, but you don't have to provide a detailed synopsis of what it is you did in that role back then. What we're looking at is your most current experience, ideally the last 5 to 10 years. All right. As far as objectives are concerned, a lot of people may spend time writing, oh, I'd like to do this, I want to do this, I can bring this and that. Talk about what you can bring to the table for the employer. That's what they're really interested in. The skill sets that you have, the experience that you have, the passion that you have. Talk about that and talk about what you want to bring to the table, what you can do for that company, because in the end, that's what they're really interested in. Skip information that's a little too personal, such as number of siblings or your height. I've seen that many a times where people have, given me the name of their parents, and how many sisters and brothers they have. We don't need that type of information here on our resumes. We're just looking at you and your experience and what you can bring to the table. Fuzzy keywords and phrases should be avoided. Just be concise and use words that actually describe and tell me what you did. And that's really important, talking about what you did. Because if you've got the title there of the role that you held, it will give me a rough idea as to what it is that you did. But every company has different responsibilities for, say, a business analyst. So if there are any particular projects or experience that you did in your previous roles that you know are relevant or transferable skills for the role that you're applying to now, put that on there, because I can't possibly know everything that you've done. I have a rough idea, but if there's something that needs to be brought to my attention, this is your opportunity to do that. Make sure you put that down on your resume, maybe under special projects or awards, things like that, but that's the time to let me know. And this last point, I can't stress enough. Please have somebody review the resume and make sure that it reads well and that there aren't any spelling errors in it. When you're working on a resume, some people will spend hours, some people will spend days working on this. And what happens with your mind after staring at a document for hours on end is, if there are words missing, your brain actually starts filling those words in and you don't even realize it. And that's just a biological fact. So that's why it's important to have somebody review your resume before you send it off. Make sure that there aren't words missing, and make sure that spell check has checked for all the correct words. And know that spell check will miss things at times, because if you've used a word in there by mistake that you didn't mean to, but it is an actual word, spell check won't pick that up. So let's say the word mail, M-A-I-L, such as what the postman will deliver, versus male, M-A-L-E, male, female. If you have that word in there, both words are recognized, but your spell check may not necessarily pick that up. So that's why it's important to make sure that somebody reviews it and reads it. I had another gentleman who had applied for a position for a business analyst role, actually. He had everything I wanted in the resume. It was technically sound. However, in the beginning there, where he had written his objectives and what he wanted to do and his skills in that, he had 5 spelling mistakes in that one paragraph. And in all good consciousness, I couldn't put him through, because I thought, if you can't spend the time to make sure that your resume reads well and that you're presenting the best light of you to me, what are you going to be like when you're actually working here? How are you going to present yourselves to our clients? Are your letters going to go out with spelling mistakes all over it? You represent RBC, and we pride ourselves on that. So that's why it's very important that you present yourself in the best light possible with your resume, because I'll have more confidence that you'll continue doing so once you start working with us. All right, so let's move on to the next part there, which is interview tips. So these are just some basic questions that managers may ask you. And in here, we're going to talk a bit about what it is that they're looking for in their responses, okay? So this one here, tell me a bit about yourself. This is what I call the elevator spiel. This is just a very high-level description of who you are, why you're interested, what you bring to the table, things like that. It just gives the manager a little bit of an idea as to, again, who you are, and yeah, are you somebody that I might be interested in speaking with? This is a great question, this next one. Why are you interested in this job? We ask this all the time. And why do we want to know? Because we want to know whether or not you genuinely are interested in this particular role or in this particular company, or is this just a stepping stone for you? As a manager, I want to know that I'm going to have you for at least a couple of years, because it's going to take a while for you to develop and learn that role. And after I've invested all that time, the last thing I want is to have you go after 6 months. So we want to make sure that your interest in the role is genuine. There's nothing wrong with using that position to develop your skill sets and build so that eventually you can do something further on down the road. That's fine. But we want to make sure that the interest is genuine and that you are down the right path and that this role is suited for you. When I'm recruiting for people, I want to make sure that, yes, I find the best position, the best candidate for that position, but I also want to make sure that I find the best role for you too. The last thing I want to do is put you in a position and then 2 months later you call me and say, hey, Diana, you know what? this role isn't what I thought it was going to be. I'm really not enjoying it. I think I need to move on to something else. So that's why it's in your best interest to be honest when you're speaking with the recruiter. So they will be able to assist you in finding the best role that's suited for you. So even when I'm interviewing you, I may be thinking, okay, you know what? She's doing a great job here. I really like her for this role, but I have another position that I think she'd be even better at. And at that point in time, I'd talk to you about that too. I can't tell you how many people I've interviewed for roles and I've turned them on to another role and ended up hiring them for another position, which ended up paying even more than the one that they were originally applying to. So again, that's why it's in your best interest to be as honest as possible with the recruiter. Let them know where your passion is. All right, so an area that we can improve on. This is another question that recruiters and businesses will ask. They want to know that they are able to work with you, that if they do give you constructive criticism, that your back won't get up. You'll take that criticism and you'll learn from it and you'll develop and you'll grow. There's nothing wrong with making mistakes. People make mistakes all the time. I worry about people who don't make mistakes because mistakes I look upon as a learning opportunity, an opportunity to grow. So don't be afraid to take that chance and don't be afraid to make a mistake. It's okay. That's how we grow. That's how we develop and that's how we learn. The next couple of questions there. So how do you handle a difficult situation, working with a manager, a difficult manager? This is the type of question that they may ask you just to see if you know how to handle difficult situations. What are your negotiation skills like? If you're presented with a problem, what is your mindset? How would you attack that scenario? Because let's face it, there are always going to be difficult situations, no matter where you work. There's always going to be that person that, you know, you may not necessarily get along with. You don't have to have coffee with everybody. No, we understand personalities are different. But what we do hope for is that you are able to work with your colleagues, treat them with respect, and have them treat you with respect as well. As I said, we don't have to have coffee, but we have to be able to work together. So we want to see that you do have that capability and are open to, you know, working with somebody who you may not feel this is going to be my best friend, but let's agree to disagree, treat each other respectfully, and we can still accomplish so much. What's important to you in a job? Again, be honest in this answer here, because we want to know where your passion is. And I'll be able to tell whether or not this role will be good for you. If you tell me that, oh, well, you know what? Customer service, I love dealing with people. That's very important to me. So to put you in a back office position where you're just doing data entry, I know that's not going to work. You're going to be bored. You're just going to be upset. There's no point in doing that. Whereas opposed to somebody who loves data entry, putting them in front of a client is probably the worst thing for them. So again, telling us what's important for you, what you enjoy in a job is the best way to go. All right. So give an example when things, how you reacted when things didn't go your way. Again, that's very similar to somebody who is critiquing you. You're going to find a lot of these questions. The responses can be used in 2 or 3 of the scenarios, the examples that you come up with. And actually, further to examples, anytime you can provide an example when you're responding to a question is fantastic. We love examples because it shows us that what you're saying is true because you've actually done it in the past. So anytime you can come to the table and give your response and throw an example in as well is fantastic. What do you think it takes to be successful in your job is very similar to and in line with how did you prepare for this interview. Having a better idea of what the role is about, what the company is about, what the goal is key. Preparing for an interview is key. They see that you're genuinely interested in the company, the integrity is there, and it also assists you in being a better candidate and presenting yourself in front of the business. Looking for time here. So we're at 20 minutes. So we're going to move down a little further because I want to leave time for questions. So short-term and long-term goals, again, this can be a bit of a tricky question because We want to know where you'd like to go, what you'd like to do, but at the same time, we don't want this to be a skipping stone. So be careful when you do answer that. Talk about the fact that, yes, this will assist me in getting to my ultimate goal 10 years down the road from now, but not my ultimate goal 6 months down the road from now. All right. And realize too that you're never wasting your time in any role that you're in. You're always learning something. So if your ultimate goal is to manage a team in, say, cyber security, know that anything that you do between now and then, whether it be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or 2 years from now, you're always gaining experience, and you're able to use that and those transferable skills in roles further on down the road. You never know where you're going to end up. I never thought I'd end up in HR. I had no interest in HR. I had actually applied for a manager's role in home and auto. And I had taken a couple of courses, and it was okay, but it's not like, oh my God, this is my passion type of thing. And when I applied for the home and auto position for the manager's role, the recruiter said to me, oh, Di, you know what? This role's off the table. We're just about to make an offer. And I said, okay, that's fine. And she mentioned to me that she was moving into another role and that she was looking for a recruiter to replace her. And I said, I've never worked in recruitment before. I don't know anything about it. And she said, no, but you understand the industry. You speak their language. And I said, okay, throw my name in the hat. And that's how I actually ended up in HR. So you never know where you're going to end up. You never know what opportunities will present themselves. So that's why it's important to embrace whatever you can. Take whatever positions are available. Look at contract positions too. Contract positions are a great way to get your foot in the door. You will learn so much from these positions and be able to use that experience and that knowledge further on down the road. And also too, don't disregard the experience you have from back home. You guys are coming to the table with a lot of fantastic experience and transferable skills. Be proud of that. Talk about it. Talk about how this experience you can bring to the table and what you can do for this potential employer in reference to the experience that you had back home. All right. All right. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And I think we'll open up to questions now. Does that work, Alexandra? Okay, awesome. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Diana. That was really great. Sarah?
Thank you, Elena, and thank you, Diana, for that amazing presentation. We have a couple of questions about certifications. Our clients are wondering what should be the certification that they should be prepared as a newcomer, that they have to be prepared as a newcomer to have a job in RBC. And another one is it's relevant to the regular banking. Is it a must to have Canadian certifications like CSC or branch manager compliance course?
Okay, excellent. Those are great questions. Let's start off on the insurance piece. As far as certification is concerned, the only role where licensing is required is sales. Everything else, we're just looking for good customer service skills, and you will be trained on the product. I know I can teach you how to read a policy. I know I can teach you how to set up a claim in the system. I can't teach you what comes from within. Either you have it or you don't. We know we can teach you the rest of that. So that's why no other rules are required where certification is required other than sales. And on the bank side too. Canadian securities, if you're a banking advisor, again, working with the client and selling, then yes, you have to be licensed or you have to have that certification in order to talk to them about investments. But other than that, no other certification is required. Also too, when you're looking at a posting, look at the must-have and the nice-to-haves. The must-haves will indicate what you absolutely have to have. So if the position does require a certain certification or a license, it will indicate it in the job description there. If it says it's a nice-to-have, then you know it isn't mandatory. Especially with the entry-level positions. When you start getting into intermediate and senior positions, then yes, we are looking for more certifications and degrees. But for our entry-level positions, especially on the insurance side, unless it's a sales role, no licensing is required. Just good customer service skills and willing to work with people.
Thank you. Another one, how about if someone has an insurance and risk management certificate? Is there something with RBC?
Oh, absolutely. Coming from an insurance background or risk management background, ideally transferable skills right from the get-go. Absolutely. So anybody who does have an insurance background, we would love to see your resume. Even if you don't, that's okay. But definitely if you have an insurance background, we would love to see your resume and your application. Because let's face it, a policy is a policy, a claim is a claim. You know, the subtle nuances may be a little different, compliance issues may be a little different, but still, I could give you a policy and you would know how to read it. You know how to look for exclusions. Same with risk management. Risk is risk, regardless of where it is. The risk, the potential is still there. It's that mindset, that analytical mindset that we're looking for. And you will be able to apply those skills no matter where you are.
Thank you, Diana. Another question from Josefa. Do you also use your network of branches, relationship managers, and existing client base to market your insurance products?
That's a great question. In Canada, we're not allowed to. The bank and the insurance company are two separate entities. A number of years ago, they introduced what was called the Bank Act. So if you're working in insurance, we can't sell banking products to our clients, and the banking clients, our banking employees rather, can't sell insurance products. But if a client asks about RBC Insurance, let's say they're buying a house, so they're at the bank and they're filling out the papers for a mortgage, and they say, hey, you know what? You guys have an insurance division. How do I get in touch with them? Then the employee can introduce them to the insurance side and send them over there, but we can't initiate that. That being said, we do have our data pool. We do have our base of clients that we do draw from for our advice centers, our call centers. So when we are selling products, we do sell products to our own RBC clients as well. But it is a very fine line about how far you can go and what you can do. And, you know, if you do get into one of these positions, your manager will explain all of this, and that'll be part of the training as well. It is different from a lot of other countries where the bank and insurance are sold together as a combined product, but we can't do that here.
Thank you.
And also too, I just wanted to say, insurance does differ from province to province as well. So some provinces are government-run insurance and some are private. So British Columbia, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, they're all private carriers. Alberta, Ontario, they're all, sorry, government-run, and we are private. So it does differ from province to province, the legislation. And again, you'd be trained on all of that.
Thank you. And there's a question from Shani. If the assumption, it's all about the resume. If the assumption is to have a resume ready that a 12th grader can understand, how would they understand if the person is suitable for a job that he or she has not done in the past, but is capable to do so and has the necessary transferable skills?
That's a great question, because if you have a lot of experience, you want me to know that. And you don't want to present it in a light where it looks as though somebody from grade 3 or 4 has written this resume. And I get it. What you want to do is just put down enough information to entice me, and catering your resume to the role that you're applying to is key. Okay. Look at the terminology that a company uses on their website. Let's talk about a claims adjuster. So you've had the term claims adjuster, adjudicator, claims analyst. All three are used interchangeably. So what you want to do is look on the website, see what that particular company has used, and you use that same terminology. You're also going to see the skill sets and the experience that they're looking for. When I'm scanning down a resume, those are the words I'm looking for. If I need somebody who's well-versed in Excel, I'm gonna look for that word. If I need somebody who's familiar with a particular program, I'm looking for that program. So don't just say, I have computer experience. Actually spell it out, the programs or applications that you're familiar with, if the company is looking for a specific program or application. If you're applying to a customer service oriented role, beef up that customer service piece. If you're applying to an analytical role, beef up that analytical piece. There's nothing wrong with having a couple of resumes floating around. You have your core resume, but then, as I said, look at what the job description is looking for, and those keywords, that key experience, make sure you put that in your resume, because that's what's going to attract the recruiter's attention, just enough to put you into that next tier, so then they can have a closer look at you and reach out to you and conduct that telephone interview and then learn more.
We also have specific questions about business analyst roles and HR or admin roles. What would you advise for them if they're applying for these roles with RBC?
Okay, so a business analyst role, the best way to get into a BA role is to actually come from the business. What a business analyst does is they'll review processes, procedures, they'll make changes to the system, try to streamline things. And who better to do that than somebody who's actually worked the front line and done that role. So if business analyst is an area that interests you, take an entry-level position, such as a call center position. Start off on the ground floor, get to know the company, the culture, the clients, the processes and the procedures, and do that for at least 2 years, I would say. And then you can start making a move over into the BA world, because now you can actually come to the table making recommendations about what you've seen, what you've experienced. That's probably the best way to get into a business analyst role. HR role can be very difficult to get into, because a lot of people who are in HR love it and they end up staying here. So you're not going to see hundreds of HR positions coming up the way you would call center positions. So starting to take HR courses definitely will assist you. It shows the genuine interest in that area. So if they do see a couple courses on your resume, that's fantastic. Start applying to entry-level HR positions, but also think about coming in through the back door. And what I mean by the back door is the way I did, from the business. Take whatever experience, whatever exposure you can get in that company, and then you can actually start job shadowing later with HR. Again, you can come to the table making recommendations. But also too, while you're working in your current role, keep this in mind. You're actually networking too, without even realizing it. And always realize that people are watching, people are listening. If you have a great reputation on the floor, that will trickle through to other departments. So if you do apply to another company, another position in your company, people will talk and they'll say, hey, you know what? Carolyn's been fantastic. She's done a great job here. You know, she always gives 100%. She always raises her hand to take extra work on. And so you're actually being watched without even realizing it. People will talk. So keep that in mind, and also take advantage of, while you're working there, to network, get to know people in other departments. Here in Canada and in North America, networking is huge and networking is key. And I'm sure you'll hear that from these organizations that, you know, we're working with today. They will tell you that, yes, it's great to have the information and the experience on the resume, but sometimes it's difficult, especially when you're looking at a large corporation like RBC, just to get your foot in the door, get in front of somebody. It's not the way it was 20, 30 years ago, where you would walk into a company and actually see the manager, meet them right from the get-go, and physically give them your resume. Everything is online now. And like I said, RBC has 86,000 people working for it worldwide. So what you want to do is take advantage of any opportunities that are available. Network, network, network. If you get into a company, get to know the people in the other areas, network. Or if you're trying to get into a company, when you're at a local community event, find out who works here, who works there. We're next to the Canadian military. We are actually the largest Canadian employer. So chances are, if you're at an event, although not with COVID right now, but if you're at an event, somebody there works for RBC, or they know somebody who works at RBC. Find out where people work, find out what they do. It'll definitely help get you that foot in the door and give you an opportunity to sell yourself. Because in the end, that's really what you're looking for, is an opportunity to sell yourself. Again, you've got that great skill set. You've got that experience. I mean, my God, you've come to a new country. that's a scary thing. And the fact that you've done this and successfully, like, kudos to you. I look at my kids and myself, and the thought of, you know, leaving and going to a strange country. Sometimes you speak the language, sometimes you don't. That takes a lot of courage to do. You've got a lot of courage. You've done so much. Embrace that and continue doing that. Continue with the networking, and that'll definitely assist in getting your foot in the door and giving you that opportunity to sell yourself.
And I just would like to jump in addition to what Diana said about the networking, because that's the most important thing for a newcomer. So I would just like to make sure that it's clear what's next based on the questions we got. So what the participants in this webinar can do in order to get their resumes reviewed by you, Diana. So this is what we're gonna do, guys. If you are in Edmonton, email your resume to Sarah, Komoljit, or myself. You're gonna receive all the emails after the session. We are the first pre-screening process. Then we forward to Alexandria. Alexandria gonna review, she gonna answer most of the questions because they're too specific. We cannot address all those questions today because they're too specific to individual. We want to see your resume tailored to specific position. So after you're reviewing the positions with RBC, you want to tell us which exactly you're applying to and resume tailored to us. You probably heard many times job ready. So maybe you believe you are ready to work, but not really job ready. So Komoljit EMCN has career counselors helping you with resumes. Then Eric with mentorship and networking. Then Alexandria, and then comes Diana. Because we value our mentors and connectors' time, we want to make sure that our clients are really job ready, pre-screened when they go to Diana. And if you are in Calgary, that's Bao, who gonna review that thing, they work with other settlements agencies with career counselors, and then he gonna forward it to Denise.
Excellent, thank you. And if I could just make just two more points then, because I know we're running out of time here. I encourage you to have a look at the website, rbc.com, our careers section. And I also encourage you to set up a career alert for yourself as well. And what the career alert does is, depending on the parameters that you put in, if there's a position, an area that you're interested in, when a position comes up in that area, you'll actually receive an email. But I also encourage you to have a look on the website, all the different areas, whether it be banking, whether it be insurance, capital markets, wealth management, all the different areas, because you never know what is there. So go onto the website, set up a career alert for yourself. And also too, given the fact that we are in a COVID environment right now, as I said, the head office for insurance is in Mississauga, but what we're realizing is that, you know, the company can still function and operate with everybody working from home. So even though a position is based in Mississauga, corporate is now looking to see how we can broaden our horizon and, you know, entertain people from other provinces. So somebody from Calgary or Edmonton could possibly potentially work in our call center in Mississauga and taking calls from our clients from your own home. So this is what we're looking into doing right now. And I know we're not the only company doing that, everybody is. So keep that in mind. I know it is a little quiet right now because of COVID, but know that positions will start opening up, things will start picking up again. And I encourage you to apply. And as I said, we are now looking in the prospects of having people work virtually. I know for myself, there's a good chance that my area may not go back into the office. We may just continue working from home. I recruit nationally. I recruit for positions right across Canada, and I do it from home. So if I can do this here, there are certain roles that we can do that as well. Some roles, unfortunately, you know, don't allow that type of flexibility, but there are a lot of roles out there that do. So things are changing. The opportunities are definitely going to start opening up again. So do keep an eye on that, and keep an eye on the RBC website and set up that career alert for yourself. Okay, thank you.
So thank you so much, Diana and Alexandria and Denise. We apologize, we do not have more time to answer the questions in the Q&A. However, we will respond personally after the webinar to each one of these emails. We'll be sending out an electronic evaluation of the webinar, a survey, and we hope that you can take a moment to give us your feedback, because that's important for us when we plan future events. We really, truly value your opinion. And we will post the recording, and we will send you the interview tips as asked. I hope that's okay, Diana.
Oh,
and
please
Alexandra?
do. Absolutely. Yeah.
And really, thank you very much for all your great support.
We hope that today's learning event was valuable for all of you and that it leads to your success. On behalf of CRIAC especially, I'd like to provide huge thank yous to Alexandria, Denise, and especially Diana for your fantastic presentation. I'm positive your perspective and advice and just genuineness was of great support to all of our clients. Also to RBC Royal Bank and RBC Insurance for supporting Alberta newcomer professionals. To Eric and CRIAC's community partners, immigrant serving agencies who supported us with promotion for today's event, and of course to all of you attendees, internationally educated professionals who come every day to Calgary and Edmonton and Canada and provide your skills and your experience. Thank you all.
Thank you, bye. Thank you, RBC.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Have a wonderful day.
For having us.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.